Hello, this is Jeremy from Video Gamers Oasis speaking off the camera, and welcome back to my TikTok channel, Video Gamers Oasis. This video and others will be also uploaded on my YouTube channel, Video Gamers Oasis. Make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. Send some likes, send some love if you like retro gaming and retro gaming history. I'm reading page by page the original Super Mario Bros. 2 instruction booklet. Now, if you want to watch me play the Super Mario Bros. 2 video game for the NES, play through the entire game without any warps, make sure to watch my TikTok channel, Video Gamers Oasis. I'll be uploading some of those videos all eventually on my YouTube channel. But for now, watch my TikTok channel and see me beat through every major boss in the Super Mario Bros. 2 video game. Now, I thought it'd be fun to look through the pages of the instruction booklet. I remember having the original instruction booklet with the game, and it was as fun to read as play. It was very colorful and very cartoony, very much like a lot of manga, anime style characters, and I want to share my joy with you. For those who enjoy this kind of stuff, keep watching. So here's the front cover. I'm reading it out loud. Super Mario Bros. 2 instruction booklet, and it's trademark, and top right corner reads NES-MW-USA. I'm not exactly sure what all that means. I know NES stands for Nintendo Entertainment System, of course USA, United States of America. I'm not sure what the MW stands for, but if you know, leave comments below. And of course, trademark is the logo, the brand. And here we have Mario jumping triumphantly with what appears to be a green and purple turnip in his right hand. With his left hand, he has a fist and he's going, "Yeah, I'm in charge here." And he's got a rainbow with a red and green and white and orange stripes, a streak of colors from his intense running and jumping. So that's a lot of fun to look at. Now we've turned to page 1, the first page after the front cover, and we have the Nintendo seal of quality. Many of our games that we've grown up with, the NES games in particular, had a Nintendo seal of quality, and they would indicate that these games were approved by the Nintendo Corporation. Let's read it right now. There's two squares or rectangles, one inside the other, and inside the second rectangle there's text. It reads, "Look for this seal on all software and accessories for your Nintendo Entertainment System. It represents Nintendo's commitment to bringing you only the highest quality products. Items not carrying this seal have not been approved by Nintendo and are not guaranteed to meet our standards of excellence in workmanship, reliability, and most of all, entertainment value." And here we have zoomed in on the seal of quality. It's a yellow sun, appears to be a yellow sun, with a buzzsaw shape all around. And inside the circle, there's a white circle around the orange buzzsaw sunshine lining. And inside it, it reads, "This seal is your assurance that Nintendo," in a traditional copyright logo, Nintendo logo, "has approved and guaranteed the quality of this product." Page 2. Thank you for selecting the Nintendo Entertainment System. Reserved. Super Mario Bros. 2, trademark, Pak. Please read this instruction booklet to ensure proper handling of your new game, and then save the booklet for future reference. Contents: The Story of Super Mario Bros. 2, page 3. Know the basic rules of the game, page 5. Let's see how Mario and his friends move around, page 11. Items that help Mario and his friends, page 18. A bonus chance at the end of an area, page 22. Obstructing your way. Gangs of enemy characters, page 23. Precautions. 1. This is a high precision game. It should not be stored in places that are very hot or cold. Never hit it or drop it. Do not take it apart. 2. Avoid touching the connectors and do not get them wet or dirty. Doing so may damage the game. 3. Do not clean with benzene, paint thinner, alcohol, or other such solvents. Note: in the interest of product improvement, Nintendo Entertainment System specifications and design are subject to change without prior notice. Copyright 1988, Nintendo of America Incorporated. Page 2. Page 3. The Story of Super Mario Bros. 2. One evening, Mario had a strange dream. He dreamt of a long stairway leading up to a door. As soon as the door opened, he was confronted with a world he had never seen before, spreading out as far as his eyes could see. When he strained his ears to listen, he heard a faint voice saying, "Welcome to Suburcon, the land of dreams. We have been cursed by Wart, and we are completely under his evil spell. We have been awaiting your arrival. Please defeat Wart and return Subcon to its natural state. The curse Wart has put on you in the real world will not have any effect upon you here. Remember, Wart hates vegetables. Please help us." At the same time this was heard, a bolt of lightning flashed before Mario's eyes. Stunned, Mario lost his footing and tumbled upside down. He awoke with a start to find himself sitting up in his bed. To clear his head, Mario talked to Luigi, Toad, and Princess about the strange dream he had. They decided to go to a nearby. Page 4. Mountain for a picnic. After arriving at the picnic area and looking at the scenery, they see a small cave nearby. When they enter this cave, to their great surprise, there's a stairway leading up. up and up. It is exactly like the one Mario saw in his dream. They all walked together up the stairs and, at the top, find a door just like the one in Mario's dream. When Mario and his friends, in fear, opened the door, to their surprise, the world that he saw in his dream spreads out before them. Page 5. Know the basic rules of the game. In green text it reads, bullet, first, pick which character you will play as. There's an illustration of a Nintendo Entertainment System NES controller. It's a mapping system, and the description reads, choose who you are by using the select screen. Pick one of the 4 characters. We have the control pad. It's a yellow cross with 4 dots on each corner of the cross and a circle in the center. We have a select and a start button and a B and an A button. For the select button, there's a description reads select button. For the start button, there's a description that reads start button. For the B button, description reads B button. For the A button, it reads description A button. Below, we have the startup screen. There's the description and what appears to be a stage with some red curtains and the 4 main characters of the game. Description on the screen reads, please select player. And there's Mario, Luigi, Toad, and the princess. Extra life, 2. So we have a cartoon depiction of Mario below, a cartoon depiction of Luigi below, a cartoon depiction of Toad, mushroom retainer, below the illustration, and below that final illustration is a cartoon depiction of Princess brackets Toadstool. In this game, her name is Toadstool. So I know during the game I couldn't remember if her name was Princess Peach or Princess Toadstool, but it's pretty clear what her name is in this game. This is on page 5. Page 6. 7 worlds. Clear all 20 areas. Start World 1. The first blue box reads 1-3, or 1 to 3 areas. In World 2, we have 4 to 6. In World 3, we have 7 to 9. In World 4, we have 10 to 12. In World 5, 13 to 15. In World 6, 16 to 18, and goal. World 7, Wart's Realm, 19 to 20. Paragraph reads, this game is comprised of 20 areas in 7 worlds as shown in the diagram above. There is a little boss at the end of each area. The big boss, Wart, is waiting for you at the end of the final area once you've cleared all of the other areas. And here we have Super Mario with his trademark red and white cap and mustache. He has his white gloves on, and he's got his right hand with a peace sign, 2 fingers out, and a yellow star behind his head, and an orange circle behind the star, and a black circle behind the orange circle. And next, on the right side of Mario, is Princess Toadstool, I believe. A very dainty lady. She's holding up her skirt gently while she walks. She's a very graceful princess. This is on page 6. Page 7. Know what each character can do. In pink text with a star bullet, it reads, jumping power. Each of the 4 have different jumping powers and ways of jumping. In green text with a bullet, it reads Mario. Next paragraph reads, average jumping power in almost all situations, but the height he can jump decreases a little when he is carrying an item. And there's an illustration of Super Mario with his nose pointing to the left, and right next to the illustration there's a screenshot of the game of Super Mario Bros. 2 with Mario jumping over 2 roots on the ground and also 2 palm trees in the background. Next paragraph in green text and a green bullet reads Luigi. That's the title. Next paragraph reads, he can jump the highest and can go much farther, but he jumps slowly. When he has an item, his power decreases more than Mario. And there's an illustration of Super Luigi, or Luigi, with his nose pointing to the left side. And next to the illustration of Luigi is a screenshot of Super Mario Bros. 2. And there's the same scenery that was in the Mario section. And it shows Luigi jumping much higher than Mario does. This is on page 7. Page 8. The next 2 characters in the video game. First of them on page 8 is Toad in green text with the bullet. And the paragraph reads, he has the least jumping power, but since he has lifting power, the height he can jump and the speed he can run does not change, even if he is carrying an item. And there's a cartoon depiction of Toad, the retainer of the princess, and he's facing the left side of the page. And the snapshot from the Super Mario Bros. 2 game shows Toad in the same setting in Super Mario Bros. 2 game, jumping a little shorter. He doesn't jump as high as Mario does, but still can maintain his strength even if he carries an item. He is also the fastest plucker. If you ever want to use a character that can pluck roots very quickly in the shadow world where he can get coins, get Toad, especially areas with a great deal of roots, and you can get coins from the roots. Use Toad, but sparingly, because he's not the best for jumping. And the final character on page 8 is in green text and bullet, Princess Toadstool. Paragraph reads, she is number 3 in jumping power. When you hold down the A button, she can float in the air for about 1.5 seconds. Her jumping power decreases quite a bit when she is carrying an item. And there's a cartoon depiction of Princess Toadstool with her golden, orange, yellow hair flowing in the wind and her diadem on her crown of her head, and with her pink dress, and she's facing the left of the page. And on the screenshot shows the same Super Mario Bros. 2 game area, and this time it's Princess Toadstool, and she's number 3 in jumping power, and she's floating in the air for 1.5 seconds. I find her very helpful in certain game worlds, especially ones with waterfalls, where Mario would usually have to hop on top of the trouts that float in and out from the water, or the logs that roll from the waterfall. That can be a very tedious task. If you want a very quick way of getting across waterfalls or even gaps in space, sometimes there's like, no land at all, just albatrosses, those giant condors flowing around. Get Princess Toadstool. She could fly through an area very far, not as far as Luigi, but she can coast across the screen, and you can skip a lot of unnecessary battles if you so choose to. She's not the best fighter, but she is an excellent floater. And if you watched my earlier TikTok videos, she even beat one of the bosses, Fry Guy, the flame boss in World 3, I believe, in the ice world. So she's a good fighter when it comes to bosses, just not as brawny as the dudes. She's a very skillful and graceful fighter. This is on page 8. Page 9. The next subheading in pink text is running with a star bullet. I'm going to magnify the illustrations here so you can get a better view of what I'm looking at. They all run at the same speed, but if they are carrying something, the order from the slowest to quickest is Princess Toadstool, Luigi, Mario, and Toad. Next subheading in pink text with a star bullet, picking up mushroom blocks. The speed at which they pick up items in order of the slowest to quickest is Princess Toadstool, Luigi, Mario, and Toad. The final subheading on page 9 in blue text, watch out for game over. In green text with a green bullet, it reads, your game starts with 3 lives. Next paragraph, you lose a life when your life meter becomes 0. The life meter starts from the second mark. When the marks are all white, you lose a life. This meter can increase to a maximum of 4 marks. If you slip up when the number of lives remaining is 0, the game will be over. On the right side of the page, we see a thumbnail of the video game Super Mario Bros. 2 for the NES. And just let's look a little closer at that illustration. Okay, I've magnified the photo, the thumbnail, and the description on the thumbnail. There's a description that reads life meter. And we see Mario's life meter has been reduced to 0 out of 2 life units. And we can see this game, Super Mario Bros. 2 thumbnail. Mario has just lost a life. He has been reduced to his negative zero life units. He's been killed by a pink shy guy in this scene from the game. So better luck next time, Mario. Page 9. Page 10. First subheading on page 10 in green text with the bullet. You lose a life if you fall down. Paragraph reads, there are holes and waterfalls. You will lose a life if you carelessly fall into one of these. Be careful not to fall when you jump or lose your footing. Also, do not fall when up high in the sky. There's a thumbnail illustration of Mario falling down a waterfall in the game of Super Mario Bros. 2. Better luck next time, Mario. The next subheading in green text with a bullet, you become smaller. When the life meter reads 1 mark, be careful. So it shows an illustration depicting Mario from Super Mario being downgraded to regular mortal Mario after being injured. So be careful when you're playing this game. Next subheading in blue text, retry and continue. Paragraph reads, the right screen will appear when your game is over. To begin another game from the same world as it ended, press continue. Press retry to start a completely new game from the beginning. There's a light blue box, and inside that light blue box is some black text. It reads, note. Games can be continued only twice. And to the right is a thumbnail, a black screen with white text, and the bullet describing continue and retry. So remember that when you're playing Super Mario Bros. 2, you can only continue twice. After the third time, you're being rebooted back to the very beginning of the game. So play well. This is on page 10. Page 11. In red text, we have the subheading. Let's see how Mario and his friends move around. Blue subheading. How to use the controller. And here we have an artist's depiction of the NES, Nintendo Entertainment System controller, and some descriptions for each component. Starting from the far left, climb up vines and ladders, up arrow. Move left, left arrow. Move right, right arrow. Duck. And climb down vines and ladders, down arrow. We, of course, have the select and start button, which are not described. Then we have A button. Character's response to controls will vary depending on the place and possessions. So the A button is jump, and the B button description reads pick up items or lift enemies, throw items or enemies, go faster. So there are various functions for the B button. Page 11. Page 12. Blue subheading reads, you can do all kinds of jumps. Now these different types of jumps listed on this page have an illustration for each one. And I'm going to zoom on one at a time with Mario as the illustration here for each type of jump paragraph. The first one, green text, subheading reads with the bullet, a jump on the spot. That's the A button. If you press the A button when standing still, you will jump on the spot. However, you cannot jump very high. Here's an illustration of Mario doing a standing still jump. Next, green subheading text with the bullet reads running jump. And that's left or right directional arrows with the A button combination. Description, or the paragraph reads, jump by pressing either the right or left side of the control pad and using the A button while running. you can jump higher than a jump on the spot, so it is easier to avoid enemy attacks. So here is an illustration of Mario, again, doing a running jump. And he's jumping much higher than he would if he just stood in one spot. Third paragraph in the list of types of jumps, green text with a bullet reads power squat jump. And the directional buttons, the arrow and the buttons it's a down directional arrow with the A button. Paragraph reads, the player will flash when the bottom of the control pad is pressed and held. When you jump, you will be able to jump 1.5 times higher than regular jumps. And here we have an illustration depiction of Mario squatting, as you can see, with both of his fists clenched, and he releases a high jump, a power squat jump. He's jumping really high because he started to flash white, sort of electric energy looking flashing. If you've played Super Mario Bros. 2, you know what I'm talking about. So that's a very useful technique. Actually, it's not just useful, it's vital that you know this technique, because there's some very high platforms that sometimes you cannot reach unless you do the power squat jump. This is on page 12. Now, page 13. Green subheading with a bullet reads, try pulling up the grass. There is a paragraph that reads, when you press the B button when standing on the grass, you find growing here and there. You will pull it out and lift it up. On the surface of the desert, you can also dig in the soft sand. And there's a diagram showing a circle, a blue circle with a green earth with some grass or roots where you can pull out of the ground. And next to that blue circle is a red diagram of a video game NES controller. And the B button is being pressed. Next to the A button, there's a filled in gray color of the B button. And next to that, there's an illustration of Mario pulling out a turnip from the soil. And he's holding it triumphantly above his head. Next subheading, in green text with a bullet, carry a mushroom block. Paragraph reads, when you stand on a mushroom block and press the B button, you can lift it up just like a vegetable. There's a diagram of a red controller with white directional arrows, and the B button is being pressed while carrying the mushroom block. And we see below there is a diagram of Mario standing on top of a mushroom block. First step, he's standing on the mushroom. Next step, he's grappling with the mushroom block. And the final step, he carries the mushroom block triumphantly above his head. This is on page 13. Page 14. Blue subheading with a bullet reads, throw items, brackets, bombs, and mushroom blocks. There are a total of 4 different illustrations with the descriptions listed here on this page, so we're going to go one by one, focus on one at a time. First one, paragraph reads, it can be thrown to a place a little way away by left arrow B. So we see Mario throwing a bomb a little way away. Next illustration, paragraph reads, a bomb can be dropped at the player's feet by no directional arrows pressed and the letter B button. You can just drop it at Mario's feet. Got to be careful though. so it doesn't blow up at Mario's feet. Next illustration to the bottom left corner, blue title subheading. For other items, in brackets, paragraph reads, other items can be thrown much farther by left arrow B button. Here he's showing an illustration of Mario throwing a turnip. For other items, he's throwing the turnip a far direction away from him. Next and final illustration on the bottom right corner on page 14. Paragraph reads, other items can be thrown a shorter distance away by no directional arrows pressed and the letter B button. So you can just drop the turnip at Mario's feet. This is on page 14. Page 15. Green bullet and green subheading text reads, attack enemies with enemies. Paragraph reads, if you stand on an enemy and press the B button, you will be able to lift up the enemy and can throw him at other enemies. So the first square, we see Mario standing on a regular red Shy Guy with a pink Shy Guy behind him. Next square, we see Mario in the Super Mario Bros. 2 game pick up the red Shy Guy above his head, and he's aiming toward the pink Shy Guy on the second box. And on the third square, we see the red Shy Guy knock down the pink Shy Guy. So that's how you can use enemies to defeat other enemies in this game. Blue subheading. You can also go faster. Green bullet with green text reads, acceleration speed. Paragraph reads, you can run faster and faster by pressing either the left or right of the control pad and the B button at the same time. So we see a diagram of a red NES controller with the left and right control arrow directions keys, buttons on the controller, and the B button being pressed. So that's how you can run faster. This is on page 15. Page 16. I've divided the page into two parts so we can focus at one subheading at a time. First subheading in green text, bullet, reads, dodge the enemy skillfully. The first paragraph reads, you can duck if you press the bottom of the control pad. With this, you can dodge flying enemies. So we see an illustration of Mario crouching. So he's ducking, and there's one of these, I forgot the names of the enemies. We'll learn about the enemies later. One of these creatures, flying winged gnat-like creatures with spears, they come swooping down on Mario. Mario can press down and avoid their attack. Paragraph to the right. You can control Mario and his friends even when they are jumping. Come down skillfully on top of enemies. So here we have an illustration or a snapshot from the video game showing Mario with the A button and coming down skillfully on the enemies. So holding down the A button in the controller, NES controller diagram to the right. Finally, on the lower half of the page, next subheading in green text and a bullet reads, try climbing vines and chains. Paragraph reads, when Mario or one of his friends is over a vine or a chain, they can grasp the vine or chain if the top of the control pad is pressed. They can do it even in the middle of a jump. If you get on an enemy on top of a vine, you can toss him off. So we see a first thumbnail here of Mario climbing the vine in the cloud realm with a ninja on the side. Up arrow controls. Next thumbnail, we show Mario. It's a cool trick you can use. You can sit on one of the ladybug creatures that climb the vine and let the ladybug creature lift you up. And on the third thumbnail, it's an option. It's a cool option. Is Mario, after going on a free ride on one of those ladybug crawlers on the vine, can pick up the ladybug creature and throw him or her off the vine. That's another way of dealing with these creatures. On page 16. Page 17. Green subheading with a bullet reads, Enter Open Doors. Now there are a total of 4 different illustrations for this top half of the page. We'll go through one by one. To go through a door, stand in front of it and press the top of the control pad. So to enter a door, you want to press the up arrow on the control pad for the NES. Next paragraph to the right. If you haven't got a key, you won't be able to go in locked doors. So we have to pick up the key. There's a character named Fanto. Later on, you'll learn about him in this book. But you have to steal the key and run to the locked door, and that's the only way you can enter the locked door, by having the key in your hands, Mario's hands or any of the other characters, and pressing up on the arrow key. Second half of the page, in blue and dark blue outline, there's a box that reads, Destroy walls with bombs. There are places in caves and towers where brick walls obstruct your path. Use bombs to destroy the walls. So if you watch my earlier videos on TikTok as well as YouTube, I was using Mario to drop bombs on these walls. And some of these walls can be tricky because you have to time your drops very carefully so you don't go too low in your bomb explosion, or you won't be able to pass through the explosion, pass through the rock wall obliteration. It's only partially obliterated if you don't drop the bomb properly. But see, here you see the different photographs of Mario exploding different walls and even floors. You can even drop bombs on floors and enter the hidden catacombs below. This is on page 17. But now, page 18. Red subheading. Items that help Mario and his friends. We'll go through one at a time individually, and we'll magnify each one. Coins. You can win extra lives with luck and the coins you have collected so far. I'm not sure what currency this coin is. It's an I. There's a letter I in the middle of 2 circles, one inside the other, in sort of a copper color. Next illustration, unripened vegetables. They are not fully grown. Just give them to the enemies. It's an unripened turnip, I guess. Next illustration to the left below, vegetables. Ripe vegetables. If you pull out a lot of them. And this vegetable, if you look here, has a cartoon-like face on it. A white turnip with a cartoon face. Looks surprised. Next illustration to the right. Pardon my pronunciation there. Turtle shells. When you throw them, they slide and hit the enemy. This is one of the very few, if any other, I'm not sure if there's any others, throwbacks to the original Super Mario Brothers and Mario Brothers video games, where the turtle shell, where Mario jumps in the turtle shell and you can slide the turtle shell into the enemies. There are virtually no other elements besides the Princess Toadstool and Toad from the original Super Mario Brothers game. Characters are gone, the turtles are gone, the Koopa are gone. In this version, only the turtle shells remain. So you can pluck out some grass or root and pull out a turtle shell and use it as a weapon against the enemies in SMB2. Next illustration to the left below. Bomb. A few seconds after they are picked up, they flicker and explode. We recently talked about bombs on page 17 and page 16, one of the earlier pages, and how they are very effective for blowing away rock walls and barriers that can prevent Mario or the other characters from advancing in the adventure. You can also use it as a weapon against the enemies as well. Final illustration on page 18, mushroom block. They can be used as steps and for attacking the enemy. So it's mutually a weapon and a stepping stone. These mushroom blocks are very effective, especially if you watch my earlier videos playing through Super Mario Brothers 2. They're effective against one of the Birdo characters. You can use it to step on top of the platforms to reach higher platforms that you wouldn't normally be able to reach. You can also use it as a weapon against the enemies like Birdo or Triclide. Triclide's the main enemy that you can only fight with mushroom blocks. So they're a big, heavy block of a mushroom. I wouldn't recommend you putting these mushrooms in your salad or your pizza. They are not for human consumption. Moving on. Page 19. Mushrooms, top left corner. These appear when you enter a warp to subspace at a certain place. Your life meter will increase by 1 mark. So these are the power-ups that you can pick up while using the magic potion that go into subspace, a parallel universe, and you can pick up the mushrooms in that world. So a little bit of correction. I said there was very few items from the original Super Mario Brothers video game. Mushrooms are included, and they're great. Boy, it feels like a great relief when you are a very low unit and you pick up a mushroom and you not only replenish your health, but you gain an extra life meter. Next illustration to the right, 1-up. When a 1-up mushroom appears, you get a new life. Pretty self-explanatory. They're around the games, the game levels. They're hard to find though, but if you find one, it's a real nifty treasure. Like an extra life. Next illustration to the left, below, small heart. This appears when you beat a lot of enemies. The life meter recovers by 1 mark. And the small heart is a great relief when you're down to your 1 unit and you defeat a lot of enemies. You defeat one after another. Sometimes you can hit a massive amount of enemies and you can pick up a small heart after a few enemies have been defeated. And it's great relief to have your health replenished. Next illustration to the right, POW. Power block. When you throw this, the earth shakes and you can beat all the enemies. Causes an earthquake. This power up. Very potent item. So use wisely, because if you use it at the right area, you can defeat a lot of enemies at one time and pick up a small heart as a reward. Final illustration on the bottom left corner of the page. Key. You need this to open locked doors. Your running speed does not change even if you have a key. I kind of forgot that you could still run with the key. It doesn't affect the speed of your player, no matter who or what the player is, what character you're playing. So you'll learn more about the key and Fanto later on in this book. This is on page 19. Page 20. Blue subheading. Really useful items. In green, we have a minor subheading where the bullet reads, go to subspace with magic. Paragraph reads, if you find a magic potion, try throwing it. When you do that, a door will appear. You'll enter the subspace if you press the top of the control pad while in front of the door. The grass in subspace will turn into coins until you use magic twice in that area. If you place a door in a certain place, there will be a heart that will increase your life meter. So we have a series of illustrations showing Mario pulling up some grass and he finds a magic potion. What Mario needs to do after that, he needs to throw the potion on the ground, and a magic portal door will appear. He can then enter the door, open the door, enter it, and then he enters subspace, a parallel shadow world where he can pick up a magic mushroom and pull up coins from the roots or the grass that's in the soil in subspace. This is on page 20. Page 21. There are two subheadings here, so I'm going to divide the page into two parts. Subheading 1, green with a bullet, reads, you'll become invincible by collecting cherries. Paragraph reads, a starman will appear when you collect enough cherries. When you pick this up, you will become invincible for a limited time. So here's the cherries item. Cherries are found throughout the level in the Super Mario Bros. 2 world. If you pick enough cherries, I think at least 5, could be mistaken, but if you pick enough stars, you will get a Starman. And just like in the Super Mario Bros. 1 version game, you'll start to flash with electrical light. Mario will start to flash, or any of their playing characters, and you will be able to plow through your enemies like a hot knife through butter. Next subheading. Green text with a bullet reads, time stop. Vegetables are not only used for attack. If you have already taken 4 and you take a 5th one, a stopwatch will appear. When you take this, the enemy's movements will stop for a limited time. So there's an example of what a vegetable in the game looks like. Usually a white turnip with a funny cartoon face on it. You take enough of those, you'll get a stopwatch. Very ornate, detailed image. It's a clock, obviously, and it will freeze time for a limited time. And all the enemies in the game will be unable to attack Mario. And you can just pick them up and toss them away. Page 21. Page 22. Red subheading. A bonus chance at the end of an area. The next subheading in green text and with a bullet reads, clear the screen by overthrowing the boss character. The paragraph goes on to read, at the end of each area, there is a mask that becomes a gate to the next area. In order to open the gate, you must get a hold of the crystal ball. Birdo sometimes has the crystal ball, so get it back by defeating him. At the end of each world, the boss is waiting for you again. So there's the levels leading to Birdo, the main boss that has the crystal ball. And the illustration to the right, there's the description with Mario facing the Birdo. And the description reads below, attack the boss character by throwing mushroom blocks. And Mario eventually picks up the crystal ball when he defeats Birdo. Second half of the page. Bonus stage. The bonus game is one of chance. Get more lives by collecting cherries. You can win extra lives when you clear each area. You get one play for each coin you have collected from the last. There's the bonus chance title screen where you can win extra lives at the end of the world. Each area. Now here are the stats for how many lives you can earn and what you need to do to earn such lives. If you earn one cherry in the slots, you get one more life. 2 cherries, 2 more lives. 5 more lives if you get 3 cherries. 3 of any other symbol equals 1 more life. This is on page 22. Page 23. Obstructing your way. Gangs of enemy characters. This is actually one of my favorite pages in the book. It's very colorful, and you'll look to learn about some very wacky and weird manga / anime style cartoon characters that Mario and his team of heroes have to confront throughout the whole game. We're going to look at these characters individually, one by one. First one, Shy Guy, Red. A member of the 8-bits, brackets, a club from evil dreams. He wears a mask because he's shy. There's the Shy Guy. He's one of the first enemies you have to confront in the game. The next one, Shy Guy, Pink. He moves back and forth on the hills. Carefully avoid him. So he looks very similar to the Shy Guy Red, only he has a pink robe instead of a red robe. And also, he doesn't walk off cliffs like the Red Shy Guy. He walks back and forth on the hills. So you have to be really very careful when you're landing on plateaus that you don't hit him or get hit by him, because he is constantly pacing from side to side, unlike the Red Shy Guy who just keeps moving forward. Next character, left side, lower level, Tweeter. It's a bird with a mask. He hops. Try to get on top of his head. So he's a bird with a mask, and he's back and forth, up and down. Next character to the right, Sniffit, Red. A member of the 8-bits. He wears a mask and spits the bullets of evil dreams from his mouth. So he's very similar to the Red Shy Guy, but he He has a mask where he spits bullets at Mario and the other heroes. So watch out for that guy. He's nasty. Next character, bottom left corner, Sniffit Gray. He jumps before spitting a bullet. Learn the timing of his bullets. This character is more predictable than the Sniffit Red. He will warn you before he shoots at you. Next character to the right, final character on page 23, Sniffit Pink. He moves back and forth on the hills. Avoid his bullets with timely jumps. So this Sniffit is very similar to the Pink Shy Guy. He paces side by side on the hills, and you really have to be careful not only about bumping into him, but being shot by him. This is on page 23. Page 24. Ninji 1. He is a little devil who appears in the dreams of NES players. He moves fast and will persistently chase you. So I always thought he looked like a ninja. They play on words when they say ninja. So he's the first ninja, and he chases Mario and the other players. Next to the right, we have Ninja 2. He stays in one spot and jumps repeatedly. A strange guy. He's also very useful, very handy enemy of all the enemies other enemies you can use, but Ninja is great. Ninja 2, he's different from Ninja number 1. He won't chase you, but he jumps up and down. And he's great if Mario or the other characters, the other players can pick him up and jump on top of him. He can elevate the hero to a higher plateau. Next character, lower level, left. Bezo, red. He attacks by diving at you. Looks like Shy Guy with wings. So there is the character that really gets on my nerves. Sometimes they swoop in with their two-pronged spears. And they are very much like the Shy Guy, but they have fairy wings or angelic wings, and they swoop down and try to attack Mario and the other heroes. The red Bezo. Next we have the pink Bezo. He attacks by flying straight at you. Stay calm and study his movements carefully. So he's slightly different than the red Bezo. He flies directly at the hero. Next character, bottom left corner, Hoopster. He is a creature about the size of a basketball. He resembles a ladybug. He lives on vines and crawls up and down. He's also, I might add, he's very useful for elevating Mario and the other heroes up the vine. If you can get on top of his eyeballs and at a good plateau, he can elevate you at a higher plateau. Next character to the right, bottom right corner. We've learned about the key before. Now, the guardian of the key, Fanto. He is normally at rest and waits by keys. If you take a key, he will pursue you. Now this enemy cannot be killed. He's more like a spirit or a entity, a non-physical entity, because he chases Mario and the other heroes when they pick up the key. So your best bet is just to keep moving when you pick up the key and drop it whenever you can if he starts to get closer to you. When he flies away, pick up the key and unlock the door. This is on page 24. Obstructing your way. Gangs of enemy characters. Page 25. Trouter. It's a fish which lives in the world of dreams. You'll find it in waterfalls and rivers. He interferes with Mario. Yeah, these are the fish that usually come around. They swim upward the waterfalls and rivers. And Mario and other characters similar to the jumping style of Mario, like Toad, other characters as well, but mainly Mario and Toad, they can't jump very high over the waterfalls, but they can use the trouters to use them as stepping stones. So just be careful not to fall off them or get hit. Next character to the right, Porcupo. His body is entirely covered with spines, so you can't climb on his back. Enough said, don't even try. Try to avoid him or use an item on him, like a mushroom block. He's not worth jumping on. Too dangerous. Next character to the left, lower left, Bob Hom. He has a terrible temper. When he gets angry, he explodes. Very, very dangerous character. He explodes and he will damage himself and anything around him. Little trivia for you. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. In the very beginning of the movie, he's a member of a indie rock band called the Sex Bob-Ombs, I believe. So you may want to look into that movie and in the comic book as well. Moving on to the next character to the right, Alba Toss. He used to be only a resident in the world of dreams. Now, by order of Wart, he works as a carrier of Bob-Ombs. So he's dangerous in that respect, but Mario and the other characters can use him as a airplane. You can fly on top of Albatross's back to travel across a long ravine or a large area where there's no ground. Catch a ride on him. Next character to left, lower left, Pidgeot. He brings evil dreams. He can't fly on his own, so Wart gave him a flying carpet. And in the game, you'll notice when you play Super Mario Bros. 2, you can pick up Pidgeot, throw him off the magic carpet, and you can be the pilot of the magic carpet. So that's a lot of fun, having a magic carpet ride. Sorry, Pidgeot, but I'm taking over this vehicle. Next character to the right, bottom right corner, Cobrat. Usually asleep in a jar, it moves on Wart's command, often appearing in the dreams of Toad. Interesting. So this is a cobra, serpent-like enemy that comes out of a jar. So you got to watch out. Sometimes when you uncork a jar, they will jump out at you. They are pretty nasty because they spit venom at the character, at the hero. This is on page 25. Page 26. The first character on this page, his name is Panser. Panser. The only plant life Wart created for the world of dreams. It spouts fire. This guy's really dangerous if you don't know how to handle him properly. You either should find a way to knock him out with an item or avoid that fire as much as you can, because it'll roast Mario and his team if they're not careful. Next enemy to the right, Ostro. He serves as a means of transportation in the world of dreams. Shy guys often ride him. Yeah, so basically it's an ostrich-like creature, a giant bird that the Shy Guys ride to attack Mario and the team. But if you can knock out the Shy Guy without knocking out Ostro, you can ride on Ostro like a horse. You can also, mind you, it's a little bit of a minor thing, you can also pick up Ostro and throw Ostro at the other enemies as well. He's not too heavy. Next enemy character to the left, lower level. Pokey. It is a walking cactus. Its entire body, except for its head, is covered with thorns. Thorns will hurt you if you touch them. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Well, there you go. That's pretty well it. It's a walking cactus with very prickly thorns, very dangerous creature if you don't know how to handle them. Interesting, if you hit one segment of its body, it will continue coming at you, like very similar to the centipede or one of the bosses in the original Legend of Zelda NES game. There's a character that very similar to Pokey, like a segment centipede or worm creature. But this creature is very much like a centipede creature. You got to keep hitting him. And my advice to you is, if you want to totally defeat Pokey without wasting time, hit the base segment first, and you will defeat Pokey immediately. Or you can just try to avoid touching him as much as possible. The next enemy to the right is Autobomb, Shy Guy's favorite ride. It is also referred to as a bad dream machine. So you have Shy Guy riding on top of this machine, this nasty cannon on wheels with the letter M on it. It shoots giant bullets, I guess, at the hero, so you got to watch out. When Shy Guy comes rolling at you, but you can also ride on top of it if you can dethrone the Shy Guy from the Autobomb. Next enemy to the left, lower level, Flurry, snow monster. He'll chase you on ice skates. So this character will only be found in the ice level, the ice world, and he is pretty annoying if you don't have your ice skates on. If you don't want to handle the ice surface, he's very, very good with ice, and if you're not careful, he can knock you off the platform. So be careful when you're dealing with this guy. Just pick him up and throw at the other enemies. Last character on page 26. Spark. He shines and moves in a circular motion around the walls and floors of the underground. He moves fast or slow. So this character, I find him, you can find him in the dungeons, and you can find him in the room where Phanto guards the key. They circulate around platforms, so you got to be really careful. Sometimes there's multiple sparks, and they can be almost like a pattern. They have a puzzle-like pattern. You have to be careful that you don't get overwhelmed with too many sparks at one time and you could get hit. So it's best to have an item, if you can, in your hands, like a mushroom block or vegetable, and throw it at the spark. Disable them immediately. These guys are dangerous if you don't know how to handle them. This is on page 26. Obstructing your way. Gangs of enemy characters. Enemy bosses. Pages 27 to 28. Page 27. First character on the page, Birdo. He thinks he is a girl, and he spits eggs from his mouth. He'd rather be called, quote-unquote, Bird-etta. There's an illustration, first a cartoon illustration of Birdo with a red bow on her head. That's the way it's depicted. It kind of looks like a dinosaur almost, but with a aardvark mouth. And there's the video game Super Mario Brothers 2 depiction of Birdo. Birdo is the first boss in World 1-1. He guards the crystal ball that opens the portal to the next level. Next enemy on the list is to the right, Mauser. It is a bomber of bad dreams that destroys good dreams. It is proud, and it doesn't believe that it is just a mouse. So first of all, there's a cartoon depiction of Mauser. He looks like a bad mofo, if you ask me. He has gray skin, of course, pink ears, pink gloves, and pink shoes. And he wears shades. He's got big black glossy nose. He got some jagged teeth sticking out of his mouth. He looks like he's ready to tussle. And there's the Super Mario Brothers 2 NES game character depiction of Mauser in the corner. So after World 1, you meet Mauser. So make sure to, when you meet him, pick up the bombs that he drops on you and throw them back at him, because he can dish it out, but he can't take it. Moving on to the next enemy. Moving down to the next enemy, bottom left corner on page 27, Fry Guy. Wart gave life to this entity, which is created from fire. He spits fireballs when he is mad. So there's a cartoon depiction. He's basically an anthropomorphic fire, a flame, appears to be wearing a black domino mask on his eyes. And there's the NES game depiction of a thumbnail of Fry Guy. Pretty well the same as cartoon. He's really dangerous if you don't know how to handle him. You just got to keep throwing mushroom blocks on his head. And then he'll split up to little miniature versions of himself. And you just got to keep pounding every one of them until he is no more. So this is the snow level, I believe. It's really tough. Make sure to stock up on life points before you confront Fry Guy. And finally, on page 27, the next enemy is Clyde. He was once an outsider, but now he is one of Wart's helpers, since he impressed Wart with his cunning brain and offensive capabilities, which are 3 times normal strength. That's because he has 3 brains, not just 1. He's a 3-headed serpent, very similar to Ghidorah from the Godzilla movies. He's a 3-headed Hydra serpent that spits fiery stars from his mouths. You just got to keep throwing those mushroom blocks at him, but make sure to first build a fortification before you throw those mushroom blocks, because if you don't, you will get hit by one of his fiery stars that are shooting from his mouth, and that will be the end of you if you're not careful. So prepare yourselves before you fight Clyde. This is on page 27. Page 28. The final 2 bosses listed here. The first one is Claw Grip. He grows suddenly, and he is surprisingly skilled at throwing rocks. So he's a giant crab. He's in the in the desert, not the desert world, but one of the forest world with the black sky. He's the last boss in that world before Wart. He is really dangerous if you don't know how to handle it. He throws these big boulders at the hero, Mario, or the other characters. And you got to catch those boulders, but in order to catch them, you don't just pick it up. You don't just catch it like a baseball. You got to lift it up, because if you let it hit at your head, he will hurt you. Those rocks are very dangerous. You just toss them back at him I believe you toss him 6 times, and then you can defeat Claw Grip. He is the second last boss in Super Mario Bros. 2 NES game. And what you've all been waiting for, the final boss in the NES version of Super Mario Bros. 2. Wart. He is the most mischievous of all in the world of dreams. He created monsters by playing with the Dream Machine. And there you have His Royal Highness Wart, King Wart, with a golden crown and a blue and yellow robe. And he got a nice gold necklace with a ruby in the center. He is really villainous. He looks evil. He looks like he's up to no good. And in the final world, when you fight against Wart, there's a bad dream machine. It's actually the dream machine created by the Subcons, but he has used it to create nightmares. So it will start to spit out vegetables. Wart hates vegetables. Pick up those vegetables and toss those vegetables back at Wart. Make sure his mouth is gaping wide open, and he has stopped spitting out bubbles. Those bubbles will destroy the vegetables. So after he stopped spitting bubbles, his mouth is still wide open. Toss the vegetables in his gaping wide maw 6 times, and you will win the game by defeating Wart, the main boss in Super Mario Bros. 2, the NES game. Page 28. Page 29. Compliance with FCC regulations. This equipment generates and uses radio frequency energy, and if not installed and used properly, that is, in strict accordance with the manufacturer's instructions, may cause interference to radio and television reception. It has been type tested and found to comply with the limits for a Class B computing device in accordance with the specifications in Subpart J of Part 15 of FCC rules, which are designed to provide reasonable protection against such interference in a residential installation. However, there is no guarantee that interference will not occur in a particular installation. If this equipment does cause interference to radio or television reception, which can be determined by turning the equipment off and on, the user is encouraged to try to correct the interference by one or more of the following measures. Reorient the receiving antenna. Relocate the NES with respect to the receiver. Move the NES away from the receiver. Plug the NES into a different outlet so that control deck and receiver are on different circuits. This is on page 29. Page 30. 90-day limited warranty Nintendo game packs. There are 2 columns on this page. First column, 90-day limited warranty. Nintendo of America, brackets, quote-unquote Nintendo, warrants to the original consumer, purchaser, that this Nintendo game pack, brackets, quote-unquote PAK, shall be free from defects in material and workmanship for a period of 90 days from date of purchase. If a defect covered by this warranty occurs during this 90-day warranty period, Nintendo will repair or replace the PAK pack at its option, free of charge. Next paragraph.
This warranty shall not apply if the Pak has been damaged by negligence, accident, unreasonable use, modification, tampering, or by other causes unrelated to defective materials or workmanship. Next column to the right. Subheading reads, repair/service after expiration of warranty. Paragraph goes on to read, if the Pak develops a problem requiring service after the 90-day warranty period, you may contact the Nintendo Consumer Service Department at the phone number noted above. If the Nintendo Service Representative is unable to solve the problem by phone, he may advise you of the approximate cost for Nintendo to repair or replace the Pak and may provide you with a return authorization number. Next paragraph, you may then record this number on the outside packaging of the defective Pak and return the defective merchandise. All caps, freight, F-R-E-I-G-H-T, freight, prepaid, and insured for loss or damage. Regular text. To Nintendo, and enclose a money order payable to Nintendo of America Incorporated for the cost quoted you. Brackets. Repairs may also be charged on a Visa or MasterCard credit card. Next paragraph. If after personal inspection, the Nintendo Service Representative determines the Pak cannot be repaired, it will be returned and your payment refunded. Subheading. All caps. Warranty limitations. Any applicable implied warranties, including warranties of merchantability and fitness for a particular purpose, are hereby limited to 90 days from the date of purchase and are subject to the conditions set forth herein. In no event shall Nintendo be liable for consequential or incidental damages resulting from the breach of any express or implied warranties. Final paragraph. The provisions of this warranty are valid in the United States only. Some states do not allow limitations on how long an implied warranty lasts, or exclusion of consequential or incidental damages, so the above limitations and exclusion may not apply to you. This warranty gives you specific legal rights, and you may also have other rights which vary from state to state. This is on page 30. And here we have the back cover page of the Super Mario Bros. 2 NES game instruction booklet. It's very similar to the front cover, only that Mario is missing from this illustration, but we have the same cloudy blue sky background. And there's the Nintendo logo, red logo on the bottom middle of the page, right on one of the white clouds. And at the bottom right corner, printed in black text, reads, printed in Japan. Finally, there was an extra page here. I'm not sure if it was included. I can't remember if it was included in the original Nintendo game, but this is a little separate page. It's not included in the book itself. And it reads, any original instruction manuals included with this software are digital reproductions of the original printed manuals. They are as faithful as possible to those documents and feature a bare minimum of edits. Reference may be made to features that can't be used in this version of the game, or the contact information provided may no longer be valid. Some copyright information may be out of date. Please also note that printed manuals were not always released in multiple languages. My name is Jeremy, This is my TikTok channel, Video Gamers Oasis. This video will also be available on my YouTube channel, Video Gamers Oasis. Make sure to subscribe, click the notification bell, send some likes, send some love. I do appreciate it. This has been the reading of the Super Mario Bros. 2 instruction booklet. I hope you enjoyed walking down memory lane as much as I did. I'm planning on not only playing some more old retro Super Mario Bros. Games in the future on TikTok and YouTube, but I'm also going to read their manuals. So if you're into that really extremely geeky and awkward kind of nerdy stuff, keep watching and so stay subscribed to this TikTok channel, Video Gamers Oasis, and my YouTube channel, Video Gamers Oasis, for more nostalgia like this. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.